Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Awkward Academy. My name is Justin. I'm one of your hosts. To my right, the one and only White Buffalo, John Hooley.
Did it again.
It's a thing. This is the Awkward Academy, and this is a talk show. A show where we talk. Who's going to start us off today? What you got?
Alrighty. Topic is living in Burleson.
Old Burleyville.
Yeah.
Burleson, Texas. For those not in the know, you know.
Yeah. We have a few celebrities. Of course, we have Moped Lady. The woman who drives a moped on our main...
Whatever happened to her?
I have no idea. I mean, she was old, so...
I think she had schizophrenia, too. You could often see her talking to herself and like moving her hands around, having full conversations on her moped. Of
course, to be fair, I do that in my car, so...
Yeah, but driving a car doesn't really rely on your balance.
Yeah. Then there's that guy who he likes to drive around in it's like a dune buggy that he has Batman outfitted. Has like a blanket on the back with the big bat symbol on it.
I've never seen that.
Yellow and black, yeah.
We got that other guy. It's a small pickup truck, but the front of it is like the front of a Camaro, and the back of it has like this really big race car looking spoiler that goes up and back, and it's got the big metal fin. It's like 3 different cars put in one. I see that around town a lot.
There's this one motherfucker who used to come to my old job. His name was Mullet Man.
Mullet Man.
Probably his actual name. But, like, first off, he smelled like ass. Second off, his truck looked like a standard pickup truck with a body kit that went all the way down to the floor, like the way it fans out, like the serifs on a letter, and then had the exact same thing at the top of the truck. Looking at it head on, it would look like an eye, like a little Times New Roman eye.
A serif truck?
But it was like striped orange and white.
Ew. Orange and white?
Orange and white.
That sounds terrible.
Yeah, it had a real good window tint on it though, so. But yeah. And then we had another guy who used to go to work, or used to go to my old job, the movie theater, and he had fungus growing on his skin all over. Like it was just green, like in large patches and stuff. He was morbidly obese.
Elephant Man.
Well, it wasn't like swollen or contorted. Like he had like a normal features for a fat man. But like discolored patches of like, it had to be like a skin fungus or something because this guy smelled terrible.
Did you tell him?
I didn't make him aware of it because I assumed he was somewhat aware. But we would have customers complaining about the theater smelling after his showing.
Oh, see, I thought this was at Staples.
No. Like
when you said a guy came in, I thought it was like he's going in there shopping and you're talking to him, explaining, yeah, you'll want this printer for blah, blah, blah.
No.
Like a prolonged conversation.
No, if I was having to sell to the guy, well, he had a prolonged stink.
That's what would have been like, by the way, I think you're dying.
Yeah. Then that's all the celebs I can think of. We are getting a hobo population.
No. Mr. Livingston.
Mr. fucking Livingston.
So he's lived in Burleson his whole life. He still lives in his childhood home. I lived in Crowley right before here. It's like a neighboring town. And I think Everman before that, but I don't remember any of that. So I've always lived around here, and I was born in Burleson at Hughley Hospital. But I started going to school here in first grade. Moved here in kindergarten. You went to Norwood for pre-K and kindergarten, right?
Yep.
So we met in first grade. And
well, not for pre-K, kindergarten.
What?
Not for pre-K, just for kindergarten.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So we would start going to school together in first grade. And I know we had Mr. Livingston at Norwood. I just don't remember what grade.
He was old as dirt like back then.
Yeah, he was old 20 years ago. So he's like this 80-something-year-old man. Used to be a mailman, for what I've heard. And he substitutes. And he walks to and from work. Like, I guess it's his old mail routes, but like I used to see him walking from the high school. This guy substituted us for like, I don't even know.
Everyone knew him.
Over a decade?
Like, I've heard kids that are in school right now talk about Mr. Livingston being like the best.
Yeah, my sister has
ever.
too.
Like, ridiculous. He's still going.
Well, it's impressive. I mean, good for him, staying active. He's fit for an old guy. He's like real skinny.
Yeah. Probably that walking.
So he's definitely a celebrity around here.
Yeah. Then we've got the claims to infamy. Let's see.
Clams to infamy.
Claims to infamy. For instance, Hughley Hospital.
Don't go there.
Yeah, that place is a...
They messed me up when they tested me for allergies when I was a newborn. Gave me stomach ulcers for years and years. I still have stomach issues.
The Burleson Golden Corral.
Don't go there either. They got rats.
And roaches.
And my mom saw some guys, like, no, not my mom. My stepdad? It was in the men's restroom, but it wasn't me. I don't have any brothers except Huli and TJ. Whoever it was, they saw them come out without washing their hands. And the manager's like, oh, I'm so sorry. You can come back here. We'll pay for your meal for free. And they're like, no. we'll pass.
Yeah.
I don't know. Burleson is... It's like... We're just south of Fort Worth. So... We're not out in the middle of nowhere by any means. Like, we're pretty city and our population's been just skyrocketing like the last 15 years. But at the same time, because it used to be a small town not too long ago, we still have a lot of country people and a lot of country methods, I guess. You'll still see people driving tractors if you go down to the Joshua end of Burleson, and hay bales, and you got all kinds of country kids. We're going to do that a lot, who think they're country because mommy and daddy bought them a big jacked up truck.
And they own a barn jacket.
And they'll keep a thing of skull in their back pocket.
Yeah.
I just say classic truck driver, because I don't know if you know this wherever you are, people of the internet, but if you give high schoolers a gigantic truck, they're going to drive like crazy people.
Yeah, and they're not going to want to park that shit at all. Like, like, I've seen shit, like, in almost every parking lot you go through down here, you're going to see at least one big jacked up truck occupying 2, if not 3 parking spaces.
Yeah.
Like, or at the intersection of 4, like, right there. Yeah, I've seen it.
Or last week, we had some rain, very light rain, not even a storm. This kid comes out of the parking lot where Blockbuster used to be, RIP Blockbuster, and like just floors it to go up to that red light to go across Wilshire, and goes completely sideways, going through 2 lanes. If there was any car, like any other car, sitting at that red light, he would have smashed into him.
Oh, here we go. And some people think their big jacked up trucks are snowproof. How about fuck no? Like, it's like, oh, you know, I got this big jacked up truck. You know, it obviously doesn't have 4-wheel drive. You're doing this around. And if it's rear-wheel drive, then a truck's at a disadvantage. She'll stop driving like a dumbass.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
So, we got that weird mix of country values and actually not being country. So, like, we'll go shoot guns, but I don't think there's anywhere to shoot guns actually in Burleson. You have to leave, like, to go, like, to Alpine.
Yeah.
There are a couple fishing places, but, I mean, you can find that anywhere. We had MTV, like you were talking about earlier, in the high school while we were there for some show you probably never heard of called My Life as Liz.
Indeed, I was on that.
I might have been in the background somewhere. Never watched it, though.
Yeah, I was also in the background. Actually, when I say I was on that, is because I was in the background. While they were filming a scene, I walked down the stairs, and you can actually see my right nipple, like, over on my torso. So you can see, like, the point through my very thin cotton shirt.
I was just thinking, like, you're walking around school without a shirt?
And
that's so unlike high school Huli.
You'll see it. It's blue, and anytime there's a stare in the background, like on My Life is Liz episode, if you're just watching in the background because you're a fanatic, and you're just watching old reruns of My Life is Liz, I'll be there.
Never seen it, even though I was there.
I saw the episode of Taylor Terry's ass.
You dropped her full name. Now I gotta edit this.
My bad. Well, she's She's on a television show for MTV under the exact same name.
That was years ago. We don't know what she's doing now.
My bad.
At least I don't. Do you know what she's doing?
Nah, probably modeling.
She's pretty hot.
Yeah.
The other way, I gotta go edit out that last name now.
Alright, well, you had one, I had one.
Yeah, but that episode got deleted, so I never had to do it.
God damn it. So...
I was actually friends with Cameron. He was one of the camera guys in charge of the whole thing. And he's actually out doing film stuff now.
Oh, kicking.
So we had a lot of the camera guys come up to the table to like record and you remember Curly?
Yeah.
So we're all sitting there eating. It's like Jesse, Curly, me, and Cameron. And they're like, "So what's going on, guys? What are you guys doing?" And Curly's like, "We're eating lunch. The fuck do you think we're doing?" Oh man. I never really got like along really well with Cameron. But like there was this kid, I don't remember his name, Hispanic guy. He had really long hair and he always wore Metallica shirts and he brought a Fender Stratocaster to school a lot.
I remember that guy.
So we were sitting at the table one time and we all played music at that table. And we were checking out the guy's guitar from like across the cafeteria. And the guy was in the lunch line. He had a salad on his tray. And he balanced the salad tray on top of his guitar, like to take his hands off and get his wallet. And Cameron's like, "Wow, that's really impressive. Look at that." And the guy walks by and Cameron's like, "Hey, can you do that balancing again? Like I saw you doing it in the line. Like how'd you do that?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, like this." Dude, salad hasn't had a single bite yet. The whole thing just falls over, spills everywhere. And the guy goes, "Oh, thanks a lot, man." And Karen's like, "I didn't do anything." It's one of the funniest things I ever saw. And the camera guys had just left the table. He's like, oh man.
Let's see. Other big stuff in Burleson.
Always Kelly Clarkson, of course.
Yeah, naturally.
First American Idol.
Yeah.
Her mom taught at Norwood, where we went to elementary school, Miss Taylor.
And dude, I think I had her for a class.
I did not.
Yeah.
And she was friends with the music teacher, Miss Conlon, and she's still there. I see her all the time since I work for the district now. Burleyville. We have Christmas parades. We have Thanksgiving parades. We have homecoming parades.
Honeyfest.
We have 4th of July parades. And they all suck.
They didn't leave a lot of mess. Like, you expect horse shit and you're like your
Kelsey.
epicenter of town.
I know Kelsey used to ride her horse in it all the time.
Yeah, back when I used to have a thing for Kelsey.
Yep.
That was swell.
But like, our parades, most parades you have a whole bunch of floats, right? Not here. We'll have like a dozen floats, and the rest of them are just trucks and Jeeps and stuff covered in like lights and ribbons and stuff. Or it'll just be a normal looking truck towing a trailer full of people who hold signs or yell stuff or throw out candy.
I've been on those when I was a Cub Scout.
Like the Lazy Man's Parade.
I wasn't very good at throwing, so I was actually able to safely aim for people while throwing candy. And I wouldn't always hit them.
I thought you were supposed to throw it on the ground.
No.
Are you sure you're supposed to throw it on the ground?
No. You go to a
like,
parade.
that can't be right.
You get candy thrown at you. That's what always worked for me when I was watching parades.
I always make a point to go to them, though. Not the tree lighting, though. I'm never around for that. The fireworks for the 4th of July are usually pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, I used to work for the city at these ball fields we have.
So this bastard had to clean up all that shit.
And we would literally you'd find these little cardboard tubes that would hold the actual shell. So after all of them shoot up in the air, they'll just rain down. Thousands upon thousands of them. And we'd be finding them in like November. across the street. I'm not even kidding.
Wow.
Wind will carry those things forever. So that sucked. But they're fun to watch. Only ticket we ever got. Well, I guess it's not anymore. Like speeding tickets and stuff. But growing up, we had one ticket. And that was for fireworks. Over in the park. Behind where I worked.
But where they shoot off fireworks. Go fucking figure.
But we were 15 at the time. So. We had some firecrackers. And we didn't think they would count. Because you didn't have to light them.
No, you just
struck them like a match. So we were like, all right, cool. No flame, no troubles. No. Wrong. Someone thought we had a gun. And so this guy called the cops, and these two cops show up, and they've got their hands, they've got their hands on their guns, like, hey, what are you doing? And I dump out my firecrackers, and Hooli,
pockets mine.
Hooli pockets his. TJ just kind of stares. Like that.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, exactly like that. Because like the guy was talking to us. He's like, what do you guys think you're doing out here? What do you got? And TJ just like a deer in the headlight because his dad was a cop. And one of them called Hooli fat. And then
he was not wrong.
Escorted off the property in the back of their SUV.
That all cops have around here for some reason.
And we all got tickets. TJ was the only one who turned 16 before a court date. So he was able to pay it off. He had to pay
It was either 100 or 2.
Whatever the case, I ended up going to court last because my mom forgot the court date. And so we missed my original one. And I guess that put a bad taste in my judge's mouth. That's kind of weird to say. And I ended up having the same fine as TJ. And the same number of community hours as Hooli.
Yeah.
Even though it was TJ's idea to go. And Hooli's fireworks.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
That sucked.
Man, I remember that walk back, though.
I remember the first thing I said after the cops left was, I hate you guys.
Man, we were just laughing. Like, we had nothing to do but laugh. And I told my dad, and we're just like, hey, Dad. So, I got a ticket. For what? Shooting off fireworks?
You got caught?
You're paying for it. All right. Cool. Glad we had this talk, Dad. You're a very sound and understanding individual. My mom was not.
Oh, my God. So, TJ walked home because the two of them live right down the street from one another, right? And I got a string on my shoe. And I did not live nearby. So, I'm hanging out with Hooli. We're sitting in his room. He already told his dad. Waiting for his mom to get home. We hear the car pull up. Door slams. She comes in. And we can hear the muffled voices of his dad going, John got a ticket. What? Yeah, some of them like fireworks in the park. What? Dum, dum, dum. Go, go, go. John! Like, shit.
Good thing he was there, because, like, she would have gave it to me 10 times worse if you weren't.
I guess, but, like, she's like, well, we need to talk about this. Justin, you're going home. I'm like, all right. So I get in the car. She's driving me home. You stayed at the house for some reason, so just me and her the whole ride home. And she's just like, did you not even think about what y'all were doing? I'm like, I guess we knew. So you wanted to get a ticket? No, we didn't think it would count. What wouldn't count? They're fireworks. Like, you're not my mom. I am not impressed. So yeah, we did that. We're on system now. They got our fingerprints. They actually misspelled my last name. Part of me was like, maybe I can get out of it. But nah, I got the same thumbs.
Dang. Yeah. But we're expunged, so no matter how hard someone looks for that, unless you're like a federal agent, not gonna find it.
Well, it really sucks. I got like the worst thingy, the sentence.
Yeah. Man.
Like, Burleson's kind of known for its racism. And I'm definitely not saying it's that, but it might have been that.
Could have been.
Because, like, when I worked for the city, we had 2 guys from Mexico. I, as I said earlier, was born in Burleson. And the earliest relative I have that wasn't born in the U.S. was my mom's mom, who's full-blooded German. So, but that didn't stop coaches from asking, "You speak English?" I'm like, "No." Dick.
Yeah. See, it's weird. You know, white people ask you if you speak English, and like, I guess that's reasonably sound because they might assume in that direction.
Well, also, every job I've had, they've asked me, "You speak Spanish?"
Oh.
And then, like, when I worked for Best Buy, anytime we had, like, some Hispanic people that couldn't speak English, they'd always walk up to me, like, as soon as they saw me and start talking to me. I'm like, "No habla español."
That's how it is with my job, but instead of walking to me, they're like, "Hey, does anyone here speak Spanish?" No? I'm like, "I'll talk to them."
Yeah,
like,
yeah, they seek me out.
We work through it. Although, numbers are the same on the price tags.
And then, earlier today, I'm at one of our elementary schools, and I've got a cart I'm pulling along behind me. 2 things on it. One is just a tub that says "Best Science Kits" on it. And every teacher, no matter what grade they teach, knows what they are because they all have to do them. I've got that and a meter stick. That's it. Because it was a 5th grade tub, and the 5th grade teachers teach multiple classes, so you only need 1 tub rather than multiple. And this old man walked past me, and he's like, "Oh, you here to repair something?" I'm like, am I looking at my meter stick and stuff? I'm like, no.
Yeah, I'm here to remeter the halls.
I'm like, yeah, I figured I'd bang some dents out of the radiator with this here meter stick. Tighten it up.
Make sure the hall's the right length. I'll change it if they're not.
And then, to continue this, prom. So, we had these little booklets, and it listed every single person in our graduating class, and we detail what year they started going there. So mine was, of course, 1st grade, which would have been 98, 99, because we're old. And it's alphabetical order, except for me, because there's a guy whose last name was Zumwalt with a Z. Mine's Vaquera with a V. So mine's 4 letters before his, right? Wrong. It goes blah 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 Zabi, blah 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 Zumwalt, Justin Vaquera. And I'm like, what the hell?
You just had to remember to tack you on.
Right? And then, in the yearbook add-on that came out after prom, it was like a little skinny magazine type booklet that would kind of seal inside your yearbook.
Yeah.
It had a picture of me and my girlfriend on the big double page spread of different prom couples, right? Mm-hmm. And it said her name, 12th grade, and then it said, and her date, Justin Vaquera. I'm like, what the hell? I've been in this district way longer than she has. She didn't show up till middle school.
Damn.
No respect. What about you? Been discriminated against? Didn't think so.
I don't know. One time I went to a friend's sister's party, and as the only white guy there, I was the one that got pulled onto the floor with the stripper.
Gringo?
Yeah, seriously. Probably all the Mexican guys would have been like, God, no.
Yeah, but I mean, like, going to a Mexican party like you did would be pretty much the only way you could be the minority in this town. Yeah. We have, like, no black people. I mean, our graduating class, we had, like, maybe 4 or 5 black people.
Yeah, of course, the world's more progressive. There's probably 8 or 9.
Maybe. I work for the district. I'm not seeing many black kids. A lot more Hispanics now, but, I mean, damn. There's no way both of those prom things were just... There's no way.
Yeah. All right. So, want to go on to your topic?
All right. My topic is just like funny childhood stories. Something a bit more uplifting about growing up in this town.
All right. Well, would you like to begin or shall I?
Go for it.
Okay. Well, there was this girl, and in elementary school, I was a very short guy. Like,
Dang.
okay, yeah. So I don't
Trying to figure out what girl, but he doesn't know.
Yeah, I have no idea. She's completely unimportant, and I don't think I ever saw her again. But she was super tall at the time, and I think it was Jesse Thrasher. Okay, me and him were hanging out because we got along pretty well back in elementary school. I think it was 5th grade, and we picked up some mushrooms. Okay, and we got a lot of really cool ones, and there was just a whole bunch of these little button mushrooms everywhere. So we were gathering them because hey, it gave us something to do because we were bored as hell because it was PE, and
so this is out in the field at Norwood.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we're picking them up, and this girl walks up to Jesse and just goes, "Schwack!" And all these mushrooms just fly everywhere. Okay. Stole my bro's 1-ups. So, I walked up to her, and I kicked her right in the shin. It was...
Did she cry?
No.
Well,
she did
good.
not. She did slap me like twice, though, in the face.
Oh,
like,
dang.
Really hard. Like, battered me around. Because she was like a big girl. Like, not like a fat girl. Like,
Smack,
she was
smack.
fit. Man, I was sad.
You got
I was
owned.
crying.
She owned both of you.
I was just...
Oh, you
red
were
all over.
crying.
I was red all over. Man. Kicked her right in the shin, though. Worst place to get kicked? Aside from the balls. Maybe the face would suck, too. But the shin's on the list.
Schindler's List. No?
Okay.
I remember playing out in that field, and we had these, I think they were blue monkey bars. They were a little ways away from the rest of the playground for some reason. And I remember we used to do chicken fights, right? So I'm going along trying to do my chicken fight against some random kid. And I didn't like to actually kick people. My thing was to try to wrap my legs around them and just, use my core to try to pull them down, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, this kid, I guess, must have worked out or pumped steroids or something. Because as much as I pulled down on him with my legs, he would not budge. And eventually my arms gave out. And I'm like hanging off this kid by my legs. So, of course, I end up let go, like before he falls on me. And I land like right on the back of my head, just boom. And so I'm laying there. There's all these kids around. Everyone's laughing. And I pick myself up. I'm like, I'm going to the swings.
All right. I got a nice one.
Me too. Go ahead.
So, high school. Early on, say like freshman or sophomore year. Okay, still a kid. In most cultures in America. And
Kind of. Depending on what you do.
yeah. So,
what year is this? Sophomore?
or freshman, one of the two.
Okay.
I don't remember which. We had like the Burleson Fight Club, It even had rule number 1, and which I'm breaking now.
I didn't know about it. Must have been a strongly enforced rule.
Oh yeah, very strongly enforced. And basically, it was like me and like 6 other people. We got together in the bathrooms, and like I was a pissed kid. Okay, there were some other pissed kids there, and there was one pissed kid named Billy.
I remember him.
And he was the most pissed of anything. Like, the second you start getting into a fight with this guy, like, you'd swear he's beating up, like, 1,000 delinquent fathers at once.
Oh, wait. Is this story the one outside by the bus?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't know that was a Fight Club thing.
No. It was it was kind of a revenge for Fight Club thing. Because, well, we had a rough time, and needless to say, he almost, like, I was wearing braces, and all my brackets just bloodied up the inside of my lips after one time. I wasn't happy about it. So I wanted to take him on again. Well, after school, we were trying to get taken care of outside while waiting for the bus.
Don't fight, kids.
Do not fight. But if you are trying to get out of it, this is a good way to do it. Without getting in trouble. So I'm getting my butt beat because he's bigger than me, taller than me, stronger than me, and more pissed than me all the time. And eventually it gets to the point where I'm just on the ground trying to grab onto him, trying to get him down. Because if I can get him to the ground, I can win. Because even though he's bigger than me, I'm way fatter than he is.
He was also really tall. He was over 6 foot, even in high school.
Yeah.
He's probably like 6'2".
So he starts dragging me around. Okay. And I'm just like, I'm not letting you go, bitch.
I was watching.
Holding on. And he's just going, running.
This is outside. Or after school, there's like 100, 200 kids walking around, going to the buses.
And then I see it. And then he turns and stops, okay? And we're going to take it to the ground. I'm ready. I'm down. Okay, and I look past him. And I see a vice principal walking across the lawn towards us. So I just stop what I'm doing. And I stick my hand up like this. And he sits there for a sec. And he grabs it and he helps me up. We look over and the principal turns around and starts walking away. It's like, woo! Woo! That close.
So, I got a story. We're going back to elementary school. This is like 4th grade. There's this kid named Nathan. And he'd moved here from Cuba, I believe. And he's on the swings, right? Him and me were good friends. And he's swinging like as high as he can because we were both big fans of Recess, and he wanted to be like Swinger Girl and try to go the whole way around, right? So he's just blind to the world. He's just going. And I'm watching to witness if he actually pulls it off.
Naturally. So you gotta write this down.
You gotta document this. So I'm watching. I'm standing behind him looking at his back. So that way if he flips over, we were hoping to make eye contact when he pinnacles. So I'm watching him swing, and this girl has her own game, I guess, of trying to slip through the kids that are swinging. And Nathan, most of the other kids notice her and kind of slow down or whatever. They stop. Like, what are you doing? Nathan does not. He keeps going at full speed, trying to go as high as he can. And I guess she jumped too far or just didn't jump fast enough because these swings, were so short. The sides came up to like your rib cage on either side, the way the seat would around you.
Yeah.
So she jumps forward, and that side of the swing just goes smack right across her face. And I heard it just pow. And she turns her whole head and holds it and steps back. And just starts falls on her knees crying. And I'm just like... and Nathan just keeps swinging. Didn't even notice. Some other kid helps her up and walks her away. The bell rings. A couple minutes later, Nathan stops. And I'm like, did you see that girl you hit? He's like, what girl?
Damn.
He never did make it all the way over. He was pretty damn high, though.
Yeah. I never made it all the way over.
I got another story if you need time to think of one.
Well, I got plenty. I just need time to decide on one, so you can go again.
All right. So this goes back to high school. Freshman or sophomore year. I think freshman. And it goes back to that same outside area where the bus pick up. And me and Jesse Thrasher were good friends. And he had a bad habit of binder checking people. Just slapping the binder, out of your hand and it falls down. And he binder checked me twice that day. And I'm like, all right.
I made my parents get me one that actually had a handle. So it was a little suitcase to walk around with, specifically because that was such an issue in middle school.
So I'm holding it like the normal way. And he's standing in front of me talking to Clay. And I'm like, yo, Jesse. And he turns and looks at me. And underhanded, I fling my binder into a spin, and it comes up and goes boom right in the crotch. Ooh. And Jesse doubles over and yells, "Ow, my penis!"
All right.
And Clay got all pissed off and started coming at me for hitting Jesse. And Jesse's like, Clay, it's my fault, leave him alone. Good times.
All right, so it's freshman year. There was a guy named Travis who I knew, and he was a white guy with dreadlocks.
Oh, okay. We're talking about the same one. I saw him steal a thing of fries once from the lunchroom.
Me too. That's this story.
Wait. Senior year? With Montgomery at the table?
I thought it was freshman.
Oh, wow.
This is the only time I knew him.
These are two very different stories of him stealing French fries.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure it was like on whenever he and I had debate class together. Because that's the only time I really like knew him.
Oh, okay.
So, he was just, he goes in there and I'd known him long enough to know that he had a habit of just stealing everything out of the lines. You get away with it because there's a huge amount of kids and stuff like that. So he's taking like the French fries that's sitting out, and he's like takes, I think it was just one, and he takes it, pockets it, and starts walking away. Sits down at a table, and it's not the table I'm at. It's like a ways away, like 2 over. I'm like, huh, and we saw him do it. Over on my table. I don't know if you were there or not.
I doubt it.
Yeah. And then saw a lunch lady walk over to him. And she was like, hey, when you get done eating, you should come talk to us. All right. That could have, I guess, gone a lot of different ways. And he's like, all right. So then she walks away. Second she walks away, he gets up and books it.
He did the exact same thing. I saw him senior year. Me and Montgomery are sitting down. Shit, now I gotta censor it.
2 1 me.
We always call him by his last name. I never heard anyone call him Travis. Anyway, he goes into the lunchroom, grabs out of the lunch line. He grabs it's like a paper bag with fries in it. The big, thick cut, nasty fries they introduced like junior year.
The weird green spots all over him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he grabs one of those and just kind of walks out. And he sits down next to Montgomery. He's like, what's up, man? Like, hey. He's eating his fries. It's lunch that he walks. He's like, hey, you and me need to talk. He's like, okay. And as soon as she turned around, he just like, see ya. Got up and ran.
Saw the dreadlocks like fly horizontal for a while.
Yeah, Montgomery thought that was hilarious watching him run.
Man, I remember in freshman year, it was in my debate class. We used to go into the side rooms a lot. Like, we were in the side room. We were supposed to be debating, but we really just like chilled out and talked. Because, I mean, big difference, right? And he pulls apart one of his dreads, pulls a bag of weed out.
Dang.
This guy, he was just so advanced for his age. I wonder where he wound up in life.
That makes me think of, I don't remember his first name. I can't call him by his last name. But we went to high school with him, but we saw him in line at GameStop for one of the games
Mitch?
I pre-ordered. No.
Uh-huh.
No. He brought the guitar. He had dreadlocks too.
Oh, yeah. I know the guy you're talking about.
Yeah. And so he lets we were already out of high school at this point. And some still in high school, like freshman, sophomore, young looking guy. He's like, hey, can I play your guitar? He's like, sure, man. And he hands it to him. You can hear stuff like rattling around inside. And he's like, what is that? He's like, oh, it's probably a pick or some pot seeds.
Man.
Let's see. Other good childhood stories.
God.
Oh, being here in Texas, I remember the year we were like 9, 10 years old. And Christmas was like 80 degrees. So like after I opened up my presents, I went out and played on the swing set in a t-shirt and shorts. That sucked.
Back when this guy used to wear shorts.
Yeah. I think I wear shorts more than you now.
Now.
I have very shapely legs.
I have terrible legs I'd love to show off for the camera, but I don't feel like blinding everyone at home.
Yeah,
Especially
we do have
with our new lighting.
pretty bright lights on right now.
Scared you.
So, I got one. I used to have I used to live in a trailer, like a trailer park. You know, we were poor. But we did have a trampoline that we were given for free. And Hooli, me, and TJ used to have wrestling matches out on said trampoline. Because it was a big one.
I know where this is going.
And I never lost. So eventually it got kind of boring, and I just started to referee. And TJ and Hooli are wrestling. And I believe y'all were 1-1.
Yeah, we gone back and back, like, for a long time.
Yeah, TJ had speed, but Hooli had weight. Like a lower center of mass. He was harder to take down.
And like 50 pounds on the guy.
Yeah.
70 right around.
Well, this was middle school. We weren't that
You're
much
right.
bigger at the time. We were like 12, maybe 13. Anyway, so eventually Hooli gets TJ in a chokehold from behind. And I guess Hooli's fingernails were really, really long because his thumbnail like left this big cut like across TJ's neck. And I called it, like when I saw it, because TJ was like, "Oh, he's cutting my neck," and I'm like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa!" Match over. Look at it; it's definitely cut. And so, Hooli's like, "Oh, exhausted." He like lays down and makes the mistake of having his feet out like this on the trampoline,
knees spread, just
out of it. TJ gets up. He's like, "Ah!" Boom! Kicks Hooli right in the balls. After the match is already over. Hooli just grabs his junk and falls over and goes, "Honor!" Props to you for taking like a champ. Like, I would have been pissed. I would have got up and just punched him right in the face.
Yeah, my balls hurt too bad.
You knocked the anger right out of you. Oh, man. I also remember...
Been shooting blanks ever since.
We were being nerdy little middle schoolers, and my family is kind of a stressful household, to say the least. So they had pretty lax rules, and I was the oldest of 4. So I actually bought real swords in middle school through Cheaper Than Dirt. So me and Hooli are outside chopping down weeds with these real swords. And eventually it starts raining, so we put the swords up, but we wanted to keep playing, so we got like wooden sticks, and we were trying to chop down weeds. That didn't work. And then we started sword fighting each other, and eventually we just started hanging out in the rain. And eventually it got kind of cold, and it was like a pretty heavy storm, and Hooli is kind of standing half under, half out of this overhang on this little shed. God. And then I look over like across the yard, and this rain is so loud you can't hear anything but the thunder. And I see Hooli doing this. And then he starts running across the yard, waving his arms. I'm like, what is he doing? And I follow him across the yard. Like, I walk after him. And he starts like slapping at his head. And I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I think a bee stung me.
Wasps all over that freaking shed. So
we go inside and have my mom look at it. She's like going through his hair. She's like, "Oh, yep, there it is. Let me put some meat tenderizer on there." And I think it actually worked and got it out.
Yeah,
but
it came out.
We hung out for a while. You just sit there with meat tenderizer on your head.
Yep, meat tenderizer and water, making a paste.
Which also reminded me of the time we were at my aunt's house, and we plugged up this TV that my uncle had done a shit job of splicing. And so when Hooli plugged it in, I guess it shocked him. And his head was like totally shaved by this point, like real short. And he just starts whoomp, slapping himself in the head. And I'm like, whoa, shit, what are you doing? Because we're in high school. And he's like, I think my hair is on fire. It shocked me. I felt it go out my head.
Dude, it felt like a burn was happening up here. I was like, oh my God.
Man, there wasn't no hair to burn.
Pop up here. Either way.
God, that was funny.
Ridiculous.
What else we got? What you got?
Man.
I gave you plenty of time to think.
Sorry, it was just the decision-making process is hard. Well. Trying to go through good Boy Scout stories.
There's the cactus needle one.
That was interesting. There's a couple of those.
The one that really scared you.
Oh, yeah. So...
We know each other so well.
Yeah. There's actually 2 cactus needle ones. One is I was out, it was nighttime, pretty dark. I got to take a piss. My eyes aren't fully adjusted to the nighttime yet. And in Texas, we have a lot of mesquites. And
oh my God.
They grow, there's a lot of different colors. Some of them got these big, long, red, thick thorns. Other ones
and they will punch straight through your shoe and deep into the muscle of your foot. And they're poisonous. And you have to get a shot. And you can't even walk.
Others are solid white. And really short needles, but not pleasant. and I'm out taking a piss. And I'm just pissing. And then I turn
He
my
does
head
pee for a
slightly.
really long time.
I hold it in and then I go.
And he goes like a minute straight. It's crazy.
I guess I got a huge
I've been
bladder.
camping enough with him to hear it. I'm like, my God.
Yeah. So, and then my eyes start to adjust, and I like move slightly to one side, and the entire time I had been peeing, there was a needle this far away from my eye, and I was like, oh! It was a pretty girly scream, to be entirely honest. And I walked away. The other Cactus Needle one being one time we were doing like a skit, beautiful musical number. It was fantastic. And then one of our group members went ass first straight into a huge ass cactus. His name was Sam. He finished the skit though with a plank of cactus stuck in his ass.
Dang.
It was amazing.
Speaking of skits, Camp Carter. I think it was Camp Carter. Camp Carter, where we shared a cabin.
Yeah, that was
Really eager to make the group laugh. And his bed, like, this is his bed. Here's the fireplace. And so it's like this big open area right behind his bed. So he could roll off his bed and into it. And he's like, I'm going to sleep in the fireplace because then I can sleep like a log or something like that. Nobody laughs. And the counselor's like, John, you're not sleeping in the fireplace. And he's like, oh, come on, man.
fucking bastards.
And then he's like, you said you were going to do something for the skit.
Too sexy for my shirt. I was the fattest guy there.
Yeah. And then you backed out after we started actually planning.
Could not continue.
Let the whole cabin down.
Stage fright. Less than pleasant.
And we had another camp 2 years later called Camp Grady Spruce. Once we moved on to Kerr Middle School, where I work now. And this kid named Max, I don't remember his last name. He said he was scared of the dark, right? So it's nighttime, probably like 7 o'clock. Sun's already pretty much set at that time of year. And we're eating chicken fajitas. No, taquitos, I mean. And he gets up and leaves. He's like, I'm going to go to the cabin. And he gets up and walks away. And I'm like, what's he leaving for? And someone's like, oh, he wants to go get a flashlight so he doesn't have to walk in the dark. Like, so he's walking to the cabin alone in the dark to get a flashlight so he doesn't have to walk in the dark. Makes sense. Camp Grady Spruce was fun.
Yeah.
Camp Carter, in 5th grade, 2 years prior to that, where he wanted to be a log, the power actually went out the second night. Or overnight, the second day. We only stayed for one night. And we actually had a kid, like, slip and fall in the shower. Like, hit his head.
See, I don't remember that one.
Maybe it was Grady Spruce. Because I know I was with Montgomery in both cabins.
Yeah.
But it might have been Grady Spruce.
You were not with me in a cabin at Grady Spruce.
I think it's the opposite. Because I remember for a fact.
You remember the log thing?
Yeah.
Which you mean we had to be in the same cabin for Camp Carter?
No, I think it's at Grady Spruce. Because I know for a fact at Camp Carter, the skit that my group ended up doing was American Idol. Because Kelly had just won. I was Ryan Seacrest. And Montgomery was Paula. And we had Barney Nash in it too. And I think...
Another full name.
I think Jared Deere. Who cares? That was not incriminating. Yeah. Must have been Grady Spruce. Well, at Camp Carter, we had a guy slip and fall and hit his head. And then, because the power went out, and then we didn't get to do a bunch of stuff because the rain was so bad, we didn't get to do the rock climbing wall or the zip line.
Probably wouldn't have done too well on the rock climbing wall, but I do love zip lines.
I think it was at Grady Spruce. We had somebody clog up the toilet and overflow it. I think it was Gerhard. Pretty sure. 6'2", like full-blooded German guy.
Oh, yeah.
He clogged it up bad. I don't think they ever fixed it in the 3 days we were there. We just had like 4 other toilets we could use.
Damn. Before high school, when I went to Philmont, or Fat Camp as you call it.
Totally was.
Basically, it's where They sent Boy Scouts.
Fat Boy Scouts go to hike their fat off.
A lot of them were not fat. But we all just went on. It was a big Boy Scout trip.
Because you're big boys.
Hey, Aaron Brooks was like...
For me.
Okay.
Hooli loves Aaron Brooks.
Oh, it's just such a handsome man.
Aaron Brooks, Adam Levine, and Matt Bomer. Give Hooli a Matt Boner.
Or a glossy
Pretty
boner.
clever right there. A what?
Or a glossy boner.
Oh.
But yeah, so...
I'm picking rocks out of my shoes right now.
So Aaron was in good shape. He went. But anyway, it was a big trip. We were hiking along. And it was a little after 8th grade. So I was 12, I believe.
Nope. Been 13.
13.
We're 8 days apart.
Okay. So
on our
13.
birthdays.
I was before high school, though. So before freshman year started up.
Well, depending on what time of the summer, you might have been 14 already. If it's late August. Of course, the school district used to start school up on my birthday in elementary school. So it was probably already starting before yours.
Yeah. So it could have been 12.
No, 13.
Oh, couldn't have been 14?
All right. Let me explain to you how old you were at these times.
Okay, so I'm thinking about this.
We were 13 in 8th grade, and we turned 14 either right before or during freshman year.
Okay, gotcha. So 13. I'm 13. And we're going along, and I'm the youngest kid there. And it was hell, not gonna lie. But one of the redeeming humorous factors was this huge tall guy that was with us. He was like 6'7".
Was he the same Boy Scout that wound up being our Leatherface?
Yes, remember we did a haunted house together?
That was fun. We'll tell that story in a little bit.
Yeah.
I called dibs.
Mule deer was following his ass around. We don't know if it was the same deer or they were just attracted to him, but anywhere he peed, that deer was at. And it just had to lick it up. Like, I don't know if he had something weird in his diet or what.
Excellent timing.
It was ridiculous.
So I did 1 year Cub Scouts when I was like 7. And I was like, nah, I don't like this, Mom. And quit. But sophomore year, Hooli and I were going to the same driver's ed class. And I think you were my ride. Like your mom was going to pick both of us up. But she couldn't make it for some reason. So Matt showed up, right?
Yeah.
So his friend Matt, I think y'all were in Boy Scouts together.
Yeah.
Comes and picks us up. He's like, hey, I talked to your mom. And your mom talked to your mom. And y'all are going to help us do a Boy Scout haunted house at Six Flags. I'm like, all right, cool. I like Halloween. I'm big on holidays. So we drive out to Six Flags. And they have this big chest, like full of all these different costumes. They're letting us pick through them, whatever we want to be. And I don't know. I just picked up a Scream outfit, like the plain, ghost face and the black cloak. I put that on, and I guess because I had black shoes, it matched, and I was tall enough that it just landed perfectly, so you couldn't see any of my jeans or anything. And the guy in charge is like, all right, I'll take you. And right at the very front of our tent, as soon as you go through the door, there's a hallway to the right. And I'm sitting right there in a chair. And there's statues of like a Frankenstein and some random monster on either side of me. And it's real dark. And he told me to just sit there real still and wait for someone to walk by. So the first couple ones, I'd scream too early and they would just kind of walk past me after I yelled. I'm like, damn it.
Just do better.
Like, come on. But after 15, 20 minutes, I'm starting to get the hang of it, right? So I figure out that the best way to sit perfectly still is to just lean back. And so I'm just sitting there. And someone walks by. And I jump out and scream at him. And I had this one girl. She was like our age. And she was kind of cute too. Like her and her group of girlfriends walk by. And they all stop and they're looking around. And one of them leans right up at me. She's like, that's not real. I got her good. And like right before we closed, this guy comes in with his girlfriend, and he's like grabbing onto her backpack, like hiding behind her, and he's like, I ain't going in there. I ain't going in there. She's like, come on, Jerome, come on. He's like, no, I ain't going in there. I'm gonna end up swinging at somebody. I don't want nobody jumping out of me. He's like, Jerome, just come on, Jerome, come on. She just kept saying his name. Just yelling at him to come on, and they're like going over and over for like 2-3 minutes on this, right? And so like she's like, I'm tired of this, Jerome, come on. And I just stand up like, yeah, come on, Jerome. And he did not come through. He took off.
I saw him later. He did, I think, come through eventually because I met someone matching that exact same description, but near the end where I was at. Because I was like the wax maker of the wax haunted house. So I had like the old man costume and stuff like that fit my face really perfectly. Apparently.
You had a costume?
Yeah.
I thought you just did the air cannon.
No. I had an old man face, and you said it fit me really well.
I don't remember that at all.
Yeah.
Who did the air cannon? I thought that was you.
That was me. Basically,
I thought the air cannon was behind a wall.
It was. Basically, you'd come around, okay, walk in front of this person who was laying on like a bed with wax pouring all over their face and stuff. It was a model. It was really nice looking. Because the idea of the haunted house was this guy was taking people and encasing them in wax. If you listen to the soundtrack,
well, see, that explains part of it. Because the fact that I was the very first thing they came across, I was like the very first person he put in position. So I really didn't see much of the haunted house at all.
So then you turn around that and you walk around the end of that, past air cannon zone, and walk down. And I can see people through like this, looks like a shattered window that was behind it. And they could see me through it. If they looked real close, they'd see the motion. But they wouldn't see me unless they walked around and then turned around because I'd be right behind them. So really, I could scare someone twice. I never did, though, because I was busy air cannon the next group. They'd just see a guy sitting here with a button in his hand with an old man mask. So
just like, boo.
But, yeah, I saw Jerome. At least I think he was Jerome. He's
the black guy?
Black guy clinging onto a backpack.
And his hair was like kind of going up like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yeah, and he came along the end, blasted him. He and his girlfriend both jumped back. Okay? And they start walking forward again. He yelled like a little girl. And they both start walking past it again, and I hit it again, and they jump back again. You can just keep on walking. I don't have to air you 100 times. It's not an issue. This air is not an invisible barrier. But apparently it's an issue for them. Or for him. She finally gets sick and tired of that. Starts walking, and he's clinging on. Eventually, like, they go around the corner. He's like, man, I just gotta get out of here. He's going. Man, I could not wait until that guy heard the chainsaw, but I wasn't there.
Yeah, that's what reminded me of this whole story. Is that really tall guy, I think he was like 6'3", was dressed up as Leatherface. And they had I think it was a real chainsaw. It just didn't have the chain on it.
Yep.
And I never actually, like, I saw him put the costume on. But I never actually saw him in action with the chainsaw. But I could hear the screams.
He was good.
And I remember one of your leaders or whatever had, I don't know, like a 10-year-old kid with him, like his son. And he had the water tray. He'd come up to everybody, and I screamed at him every time. Like, before I would see the tray in his hands. I made him spill a couple of them.
Oh, you made him spill.
You hit him with the air cannon, too?
Got him. And then later on...
Got him!
We had, like, a girl in a ladybug costume. Like, a little girl in a ladybug costume walking around. Blasted
right in the face.
Had, like, the full tray of, like, water. And just... like, spilled half of it.
Little girl in a ladybug costume. That sounds adorable.
Oh, that adorable just got blasted. Not as crazy as the time that we were doing the other haunted house with the clown in the electrical chair. That was pretty rough. The clown haunted house was way creepier.
I only did the one since I wasn't actually a Boy Scout.
It was pretty darn creepy.
Man, that was fun.
Yeah. You do it again.
How?
No, you can set it up with Six Flags. The haunted houses are technically privately owned. But I know the clown one's no longer run by the BSA, if I remember right. And then neither is the space one with the aliens and stuff.
You don't think we're too old?
Don't get me wrong, it'd be a creepy pitch, but I saw people our age doing it.
I don't remember.
Like, one guy was like, yeah, I just come in here, I work every now and then. Like, I know a guy with the park and stuff. So I'm like, all right, cool.
Well, see, that's one thing about Burleson is it's actually close enough to country areas that we have, like, easy to get to pumpkin patches and cornfields and farms. And I know on Halloween there's one farm, I got hiccups now, one nearby farm that actually does, like, the corn maze.
Oh, that's cool.
And so for a while I thought it'd be cool to go volunteer and work that. Like, just for Halloween. Like, be a scarecrow.
Yeah, nothing better than a maze.
I like scarecrows. My favorite Batman villain. But yeah. Like, I wouldn't say we had particularly eventful childhoods. And I'm sure most people think this about where they grow up. But Burleson's definitely got this kind of weird offness to it. Like, it's not really city. It's not really country, and I guess it is suburban, but it's like suburban that tries to not be suburban.
Yeah,
it's like, weird.
We have some really nice schools, like the newer ones. That doesn't look like it belongs in the town at all.
Like, I go into all the schools, and all the new elementary schools have the exact same design. Some of them are just mirrored of each other. So, like, one's a left turn to get to the science lab, and one's a right turn. And when I go to the old ones, like Norwood, where we went, and Mound and Taylor, like, they look like shit.
Yeah.
I remember Norwood, when we went there, didn't have actual walls between the classrooms. They were just sliding walls.
Well, yeah, I remember that crap.
But it's all right, old Burleyville. We got a creek that runs through like half a town called Little Booger Creek.
I think that's what it's called. That's what I've heard everyone call it.
That's what I've always called it.
I don't know if it sounds like the city plans or something.
Whatever the case, you and me and sometimes TJ, we've hiked it for, I don't know, like 3 miles or so.
Right around.
So that's a lot of fun to do. Warren Park, catch tadpoles. They used to have one of those old school merry-go-rounds where it's just free spinning, so you could get it spinning as fast as you can run.
Yeah, they got rid of those because a bunch of kids die on them.
And so that was the name of the game. They had it was like a bar that would go up like this, and then it would split off like that, up in the air and go down. And so kids would sit on top of that with their legs underneath it, and you'd hold on to it. And so when you spin, those G-forces start pulling you back. And name of the game is just see who could be the last one to fly off.
Hey, you know, they talk about how unsafe it was. Now they got rid of it all. But when I was in Europe, that's where I saw some unsafe playground equipment.
Really?
That was awesome. There was this one, I swear, it looked like someone had literally welded it together in their backyard. Right? And it was just a pole. Right? And then a ring with some poles coming off it to connect it to that center pole so it could be free spinning. And then there was like 4 handles all attached to this middle rotary on it. And just imagine one giant ass teacup, but you're sitting on a bar that thick.
Damn.
Like, and there's nowhere to put your feet. So as far as seeing whether or not you fly off or some shit, that was pretty much guaranteed.
I'd say the worst thing Norwood had on our playground. Nowadays they have like a big canopy they put up over the jungle gym. We didn't have that. So you go down a slide and leave your butt cheeks behind if it was hot enough. And in Texas, it usually was.
Or that one kid that left diarrhea behind from top to bottom.
Yeah, I never actually saw that. I just kind of heard about it.
You saw the stains of it for like forever on that yellow slide. It got toasted on.
I remember Montgomery and Hunter and I, there was this one table on the other side of the jungle gym from our classroom. And as soon as we got out, we would run to it. And we called it our cussing table. Because that's where we would sit and learn how to cuss. And I remember we'd sit down and be like, damn it. Bitch. Shit. And then Montgomery one day walks up. He's like, guys, guess what I learned today? Like, what? I learned you combine words with cuss words. And it's funnier that way. You're like, what are you talking about? He's like, look at this. Dumbass. And we just lost it. We thought it was like the most original thing in the world. But it's pretty much all just ass. Like fat ass.
Nah. And then, you get more advanced with age. So now you're like, hey, what's up?
I guess.
I love it.
You call
Oi! Yeah, the one that follows Oi.
But anyway, that's the talk show. Episode 6, I believe. That's a little bit of our childhood. At least the funny parts. And if you have any other good topics for us to go over, leave them in the comments. Like, subscribe, share with your friends. If you have any funny stories of your own, go ahead and drop those in the comments too. We'll swap. We already showed you our scars. Now show us some of yours. Stay awkward, my friends.